To be honest with you, whenever I meet someone or chat to a mom at school and they hear I'm a stepmom, the first question I get asked every single time is, "How's the eggs? Do you get along with the eggs?" And the answer is no. So we've gone through everything. There isn't something from parental alienation to going back to maintenance court. Every single situation we've had to handle. And at the end of the day, my mom will always be the kid's mom. And although we've been through so many difficult situations and we don't get along, I think one thing that sticks with me and my husband is it's about the kids.
So, hi and welcome to Blending and Mending. On the episode this morning, we have Littish Swarts, and this is a human being that I met in April of this year. We had a cocktail and we spoke about life, and there was this instant connection. Littish is a female entrepreneur. She believes in empowering other women. She is a mommy of two, she's a stepmom of three. So, yes, 5 kids. And on the podcast today, we're going to chat about what Littish knew before becoming a stepmom. Littish, welcome to the episode.
Hi, Chantal. Thanks for having me. Yes, I've been looking forward
Oh,
to this so much.
I'm so excited to have you. So, diving straight into it, tell us a little bit about yourself and your story so we just get to know you a bit better.
Okay, I'm going to keep it short. My name's Littish. I'm a female entrepreneur. I work with other females. I help them with their social media and content creation. And yeah, you mentioned I'm a mom of two, I'm a stepmom of three, and I'm now married to my high school sweetheart. So that's it in a capsule.
That's so stunning. So, if we look at just life as a stepmom, I mean, life as a mom, right? We're already juggling balls. It's the school runs, it's the homework. You and I spoke about the school projects this week. But now
Yeah.
you've got a family of 5 kids. Tell us a little bit about that and how you're navigating being a stepmommy and a mommy to 5.
Okay, where to start? So, first of all, the husband's amazing. He also joins in whenever I need him. And I'm a massive planner. I plan everything from meals to school lunches to my daily routine. And yeah, that's why I actually designed my own planner as well. I couldn't find one with enough writing space. And yeah, so that will be launching again in September, October. So for me, it's massively writing down everything that I need to do. And I love systems. So for me, we had to kind of find a system that works well for me and my husband. So we've got
Yeah.
a family calendar where we write down every single thing that happens, the kids' schedules, the sport events, weekends away. And you won't believe me, a certain app called 6060 actually saved my life.
That's the Checkers app, isn't it?
Yes. So yeah, sometimes in the evening I'm in bed ordering groceries and it arrives at 8 o'clock in the morning. So certain things that I had to do to kind of simplify our lives. Another thing that my husband and I are very big on is this year is actually we started saying no to things where usually we'd have done everything we could, and it's kind of going back to basics and actually deciding what we want for our family and simplifying our lives.
I love that. I mean, I had a lady on the podcast, Marlon Jose, and she had shared no is a full sentence.
Oh, I
And it's
know.
about those boundaries. And I think we try to just keep everyone happy. And I mean, 5 kids later, that's a lot of compensating or overcompensating. So I could imagine no boundaries planning, systems, apps, everything
Yeah.
comes together.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
Latish, if you take a step back, and it's it's probably hard, right, in terms of just the power of hindsight. How long have you been married and how long have you been a stepmommy? I could imagine the time frames there are the same.
Yeah, more or less. So my husband and I actually met when we were 16. Very long story. We met in high school. We kind of dated for 5 years, and then I wanted to go to the UK. And my husband still had to study. And then while I was abroad and he was still in South Africa, we both met other people and we both
Mm.
got married. And that's how we got 5 kids. So he had 3 kids, I had 2 kids, and we didn't see each other for 10 years. Both of us moved on with our lives in 2 different countries. He stayed in Australia, I stayed in the UK, and then came back to South Africa. And we actually went through the kind of the same things in our lives at the same time. So I got a divorce, and soon, or I don't know exactly the time frame, but he got a divorce. And then one day, out of the blue, I got an email from him wanting to go have coffee. So it was a massive surprise, as you can imagine, seeing each other after all those years. And we started dating, I think it's about 6 years ago, and then
Okay.
got married right before COVID. So that was also massive
Okay. That is a podcast topic.
on its own. Yeah, got married in April before COVID, or when like a month before COVID hit. And so everything's been a roller coaster since then.
My goodness. So then that means you've been a stepmommy for the last 4 years. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
So share with us the power of hindsight. What do you wish you knew before you became a stepmom and took on this role in a blended
Mm.
family?
Yeah, I think for me it was, I wish I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I'm a go-getter. I'm not an overthinker. I'm just getting my hands dirty all the time and getting things done. But when I think back, is there was so much that I didn't know, and I just wish I knew things like how important communication is going to be. I don't know, obviously know Jordan Peterson, and I listened to a podcast the other day where he says married couples need at least 90 minutes a week to go through everything and discuss everything that's going to happen with the kids, the house. And I think blended families need at least 2 hours a
Absolutely. I'm thinking 90 minutes is not enough.
week. It won't be enough. So I wish, yeah, certain things like I thought I've got this, I'm gonna do it, and I've made so many mistakes in the past, but obviously hindsight is amazing. But I think it's that thing how important communication is, and at least I've got a very understanding, hands-on husband that makes certain things very easy in our family. But overall, it's just how important it is to focus on what's important for the family, um, not reacting too quickly. And I think, yeah, just having those boundaries.
Yeah. So I'm going to probe a bit in terms of maybe what are one of the 2 or 3 mistakes that, if you think back now, that you wish you maybe had handled differently because you have the experience now. What is some of that from a practical perspective?
Um, One mistake that I made in the beginning is self-care has never been a thing that I've done at all. I've always put everyone ahead of me, and
Mhm.
work and kids and all of that. So I think moms in general, because obviously I'm a mom as well, is I don't think we are take note of the importance of self-care. It's just filling your own cup before you fill everyone else's cup. So that's
Yeah.
one thing that I didn't do. And I've decided this year that I'm going to spend time and exercising, eating healthy, and all of that. So I think that's main. I think my number one thing. Um, I think also another thing for me is not reacting too quickly. So
Yeah.
I think because I'm a very passionate person, I would always react very quickly. If I get a text, I quickly want to reply. Where I've kind of thought about it, and as they say, is it going to matter in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 years? So
Yes.
I think it's maybe taking a step back, breathing, thinking before you reply. I wish I did that differently.
I hear you.
Yeah. And
I remember. Oh yeah, do you want another
no,
one that you
no,
want to share?
no, please, you
No,
first.
no, because I'm just thinking while you're talking, it's a trigger for
Yes.
me. I
Yeah.
remember saying to Tristan when we first got together, because it's my child, your child, and now it's
Mm,
our home. But it
mm,
just felt so complicated with you've got the bio parents on the other end,
mm,
and it's like you're saying, it's navigating schedules and it's visitation
mm,
schedules and holidays, my holiday, your holiday, and literally building your life around a
mm.
settlement agreement that's been drafted in court way before you arrived in the picture, right?
Yeah.
And I remember saying to Tristan in the beginning, it was parts of life for me was easier when I was married. And I
Mm,
say that in the sense of I had one human being who was my
mm,
ex spouse and a little girl, and it was the three of us, and that was our focus. I didn't have to consider anyone else's routine. I didn't have to
mm,
consider school holidays, alternating school holidays, having to have a
mm,
Christmas without my daughter, having to have an Easter without my daughter. It was just
mm,
those hard phases that I wish I had better prepared myself for,
mm,
because those firsts are
mm.
so hard.
Yeah,
That
it's
would probably
very
be
hard.
my share. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy because obviously in a, let's say, normal marriage, if plans change, it's because you changed it. Now all these
Yes.
external factors have an impact, and that's also an important thing, is to kind of make a decision that you are not going to allow external factors to have an impact on you or your husband or
Hmm.
the family dynamic that you want to create.
Yeah. So, what are some of the boundaries then that you've put in place to safeguard yourself and your family that serves
Mm.
you as a unit?
Well, for me again, it's that starting to say no and actually decide what you want for your family. So it's
Hmm.
your what you desire to have and what you see as a happy, healthy family. So for us, number one is to always try to kind of, in a sense, try to protect the kids and not expose them to what's going on behind the scenes.
Hmm.
But it's also realizing that you have control over your feelings, and maybe it's because I'm Afrikaans and boundaries was never a thing that was ever discussed in our family. Is you would just go ahead and do everything you can. So it was for me, and I'm gonna maybe sound a bit naive. I thought when I first heard like you have to set boundaries, that it's something that you kind of, it's a line that you set and people are not allowed to cross it. Whereas boundaries is so much more personal and it's just for you. So whatever you decide is you have to kind of go with it and stick with it. People are always going to cross the line. People are always
Hmm.
going to maybe try to change things or have an impact on your families, but you kind of have to decide what you want for your family. So maybe that's my number one, is saying no and deciding what we want as a family.
I hear you. And you mentioned it earlier as well. You spoke about how you react to that situation. That's all you can do. That's within your control. Um,
Exactly.
Sometimes EQ does go straight out the window, though, right? We have an absolute wobble because there's frustration.
I know, and we're human. As I said, I've made so many mistakes. In hindsight, I would have changed so many things. My husband has this journey that he's going on where he's like, nobody can upset you, you get upset. So we kind of try to teach the kids that as well. And so, yeah, I've decided not to let things upset me anymore.
I love that. So that maybe leads me into my next question. So I think in
Okay.
terms of the work that I'm doing and just the podcasts we listen to and what we're exposed to from a societal perspective, in general, and I say that loosely because there are exceptions to the rule, but
Mm-hmm.
navigating a space where you are a parent to your stepchild and there is a bio mom in the picture and potentially even sometimes a bio dad, I do find that
Mm.
the conflict is potentially more in the female space. Um, there's challenges in terms of that dynamic. There's challenges in terms
Mm.
of roles and boundaries between stepmom and biomom. Have you had any of those struggles that you could share with us and maybe how you've navigated that part of life?
Chantal, yes. To be honest with you, whenever I meet someone or chat to a mom at school and they hear I'm a stepmom, the first question I get asked every single time is, "How's the eggs? Do you get along with the eggs?" And the answer is no. So we've gone through everything. There isn't something from parental alienation to going back to maintenance court. Every single situation we've had to handle. And at the end of the day, my mom will always be the kid's mom. And although we've been through so many difficult situations and we don't get along, I think one thing that sticks with me and my husband is it's about the kids. It's not about us or them or whatever all this other drama that surrounds being in a step family. It's about the kids. So we literally have to protect our kids in every single way that we can. And the kids are our main focus when it comes to that. So again, it's making that conscious decision that things are not going to upset you. And we've had so many, you asked for situations in the past. So we've had situations where I get caught off guard and for instance, stepmom or biomom shows up at our house and I had to deal with situations. And I think it's again taking a deep breath and realizing that you don't have to give an answer straight away. You can always go back and say, let us think about it, we'll get back to you.
Mhm,
And I think because it's such a kind of, it was for me, it was a totally new situation that I had to deal with. And I've had this conversation with a lot of my friends. My one friend, she's best friends with my mom, and I think that's amazing because I know them both, and we've had coffee, the three of us, and I'm like, give me all your
okay.
tips. But at the end of the day, and I think because you know this is, you know, psychology is you get people with different personalities, and not everyone will always get along, and it's okay. I think it's just being that amazing example for the kids, and yeah, because we're raising adults and they obviously need to grow up and go into the world and be amazing human beings. So it's like we try to do what we can do, and certain situations you will never be able to prevent. It's just deciding how you want to react to it. It's been hard, but again, my husband and I really focus on the kids and try to protect them. And um, as my husband always says, it's like we really do everything we can. And um, I've, in the beginning, it was really hard because I like to get along with people, but I've really made a conscious decision to not let it impact me. And again, whenever I get caught off guard, I take that deep breath, decide if I want this to affect us. And the answer is always no. I don't want it to
Mhm,
affect me, our family, or my husband. So obviously, there was a reason why they got a divorce, and I really kind of want to protect my husband in that way as well, that I don't want to bring it up, or whatever something happens, I try to handle it by myself. And we do talk about it because we can talk for hours about certain things, but I think it's that main thing is how are we going to let any type of conflict affect our relationship or our family structure.
Mhm. So, I mean, this is just out of interest because I'm in a very
Mm,
similar situation.
mm,
How do you handle the relationship if you see each other, as an example, at a school event? Um, what does
mm.
that look like?
Okay, so I would say we've kind of are too little because our youngest are 7 now and the eldest are 12. So we've known each other for years now, and we've even known each other before from school years. So um, even then, we didn't actually greet each other at parties or at yeah, in the beginning, I obviously, because it's in my nature and my personality, I made an effort and I said hello and I tried to make it as comfortable as I could for the kids' sake. But over the years, I've realized that it doesn't matter how many times you say hello, if you don't get it back, there's a certain point where you are gonna try stop trying and kind of protect yourself. So I'm at that
Yeah.
stage now where I don't make an effort. We stand on the other side of the field. Yeah, the kids will run back and forth between us. So obviously they know it's not the best relationship, but um, it is what it is.
Yeah. You know what I love about that, right? And I've got this visual of the field and bio mom on the one side, you guys on the other, the kids in between. But at least there's no conflict that the children are in the
Mm,
middle of and they're experiencing this backlash back and forth. There's boundaries. And
there's
the children are growing up
definitely.
with those boundaries too, which makes a huge difference.
Mm. No, it's definitely that. It's trying to make the best of every situation. We've had it in the past where I was asked that we should do birthday parties together, and again, to protect my family, my husband was, there's no way, and it was an immediate no from his side. I kind of thought about it, and I just went back to my bio mom and I said, let's start greeting each other and maybe see where that goes. But again, every single decision we've made was to protect our family and, yeah, just to kind of support our kids and not put them in certain situations that they don't
Hmm.
want to be in.
How do you handle the dynamic between your children with your husband and then your stepchildren? Do they feel that divide? I mean,
Mm,
I don't. Yeah, tell us about that. Just in terms of how you manage that dynamic between the kids.
okay, so for us, I don't know if obviously every single step family is different, but our kids have been amazing. They absolutely love each other. They're so excited to see each other. Yeah, whenever they come to our house, it's them running around with the pets, and it's kind of we need a day to get everyone calm. But
Was that with the transition day when the kids come back and
yes,
everyone's together?
I know. It's hectic, but yeah, I always thought that it might be a problem because the two elders are both girls, both 12 years old, and they absolutely love each other. They can't wait to be together. They don't want to sleep in separate rooms. They get dressed together. They dress up together. They help. They're even in the same class at school. So
Oh,
that's
sure.
amazing. Yeah, they support each other. When it comes to exam time, they encourage each other. So I would say overall, we are so blessed and lucky with an amazing dynamic among the kids. They've been the easiest when
Hmm.
it comes to the blending of our families. They are amazing.
But that's testament to you guys in terms of how you've
Oh,
handled it and that the
oh,
children feel safe and supported, that they can have those relationships. So, yeah, just kudos to you and your
oh,
husband.
thanks.
Yeah, I think for me, and I mean, you're talking about the soccer field or the rugby field or the sports field. Um, I'm very similar to you in the sense of absolutely try to have a relationship. And I felt maybe in the beginning, potentially overcompensated. So I would send WhatsApp pics over
Mm.
weekends
I did
to
the
keep her
same.
updated. Yeah, to keep her updated in terms of what we're doing. And if the kids are excited about something, I would share it.
Mm,
And also just got to a point where there was just one challenge after the next, where you get to a point where you realize, and I had to give myself permission that I don't
mm,
have to be friends with Biomom. I don't
yeah,
have to be. We weren't
no.
friends before. We don't have to be friends now. And that's okay. In terms of our household,
Mm,
Tristan handles all communication.
mm,
So I don't have any contact with Biomom. It's very structured. Tristan handles routine. He handles the back and forth if there's a parents' evening. The communication is
wow.
between the two of them. And I actually had a moment this year because we had Jordan for his birthday.
Mm,
And long story short, she had arrived just to wish him for his birthday. And it was quite late in the evening. So it must have been about 6:30, 7:15. And I said to Tristan, if it was a different relationship, we would have invited her in. We would have said,
mm,
come, have a cup of coffee, have a slice of cake. Let's all
mm,
sing to Jordan
mm,
and share in this moment together. But that's not our relationship. That's
mm,
not our dynamic. And Jordan was fine to go and say hello to his mommy outside, gave her a big cuddle, came back in again, started playing with Mila. And again, the
mm,
children are just so resilient. They grow up with these boundaries and these structures, and it's almost as if they don't question it. I don't know if they're going to question
mm.
it later on in life,
That's so
but
true. They
for now
don't.
it's just life. They just go with it, and
Yeah.
I feel safe in this arrangement.
Mm,
It suits me. It suits Tristan. And that's how we handle blended family life
mm,
between the bio parents in between.
yeah. Yeah, that's so important that you said that it suits you because it's obviously what you feel is best for your family.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, no one else, or fortunately, no one else can decide that for you. It's you need to put your boundaries in place and decide what you want for you, for yourself and your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
That's so true.
Um, Litish, another hindsight question. What is something about blended family life that you absolutely adore?
I would definitely say the house full of kids. I don't know why, but I always thought that I was going to have this big family. And for me, it's just to see the kids interact with each other and how
Mhm.
easy everything is when it comes to our family. Um, yeah, I would just say we've got a double story house. Our bedroom is upstairs and the lounge is downstairs, but we've got a big window. So we can always look down. So whenever I look down and I see the kids playing in the living room and the pets are on the couches, and that's what I've always wanted, a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
house full of kids. Yeah, that's my
And
biggest
that
spot.
fills your cup, right? And it just makes everything worth it. It's
Yeah,
stunning.
definitely. And then obviously my husband, he always says he would never have done this with anyone else. If it wasn't me, it would be no one. Then I kind of feel the same because we met when we were 16, and yeah, I think we've always kind of have had this love for each other, and yeah, he makes it worthwhile.
It's so stunning. We should have both of you on the podcast and you can give us marriage advice. How do we keep it together, people? Because
Oh
it's
no,
easier said than done.
it
It's easier
is.
said than
I
done.
mean, life is so difficult and it has its ups and downs. And even as I said, normal families have their ups and downs, and blended just makes it, yeah, you really have to put the effort in and then obviously decide, I'm not going to let things affect our
Yeah.
family.
That conscious
Mindset,
mindset
conscious mindset.
has been a game changer for me. And that I only moved into that space, I'd probably say August, September of last year, where
Mm,
I just said to Tristan, I
mm,
can't do this anymore. I need to
mm,
focus on my home because I can control what's happening in my home. And we
exactly.
have our family unit, and this is my priority. Everything else
Definitely.
is out there.
It's out there.
It's
You
not my
can't,
stuff.
exactly. We always say the same. We said we can't control anything that doesn't happen outside our house.
Yep.
So transition days sometimes can get a bit crazy, but a day after that, everything's back to normal.
Agreed. Agreed. So, Latish, we've started off by saying you're a female entrepreneur. You're married, so you have role of wife and homekeeper, and you've got apps to help you. You've got 5 children and 2 pets. How do you keep on top of juggling life, and just making sure that you're okay and just, yeah, just all of it? How do you do it?
Well, I don't think I do it perfectly, and to be honest, Chantal, but as I said, I'm a list person. So I just do everything I can on my list every day. I've got this thing that at least 3 things I want to tick off on a day. And I
I love
write it
that.
down. Yeah, I don't I yeah, I wouldn't say I don't procrastinate. I do sometimes, but I at least know what my priorities for the day is. And then also just taking a breath and consciously going through the day and taking that time for yourself. And then
Hmm.
from 1 o'clock again, it's school run and sports. And
Yes.
yeah, I had this conversation with a mom yesterday when we were sitting next to the rugby field. Our little one started with rugby already for next year. So it's kind of hectic at the moment with one ballet, 2 hockeys, one rugby. Oh, it's just hectic. But for us, it's kind of, for me especially, it's planning ahead. So I do the cooler bag with the sandwiches, and I do the water bottles wherever we go. It's just little things that I've over the years seen that makes a massive impact on our family. And again, 60-60 has saved me a lot in the past.
We're gonna have to add a hashtag checkers 6060 thank you onto the episode.
We have to, and I think it's just, as I said, taking a deep breath and doing what I can every day. I've been so lucky with my business has grown over the last 3 years, and I'm in a place now where at least I have the opportunity to go in the afternoons and fetch the kids and drive
Yeah.
them to sports. So that's, yeah, I've structured my life again. I've made that decision that I'm going to put systems in place where I can actually go and enjoy my family in the afternoons.
Yeah, I love that. Latish, you mentioned
So,
a diary that you've created and you said pre-order starts, I think you said September, October. Tell us a little bit about that because when you mentioned it, I put up my hand. I want one because I'm a list person myself. And when I see how I've
mm.
scratched things off a list, I just feel
Oh,
achievement and
I
that's,
love that.
I can breathe. I know, right? Color coded, but I could just breathe a little bit because I know I've gotten through what I've needed to get through. So, how do we get a
Oh.
hold of your book or your diary? Tell us a bit about that.
Thanks, Chantal. Now, obviously, through my social media, I'll have a link where you can go online and pre-book your diary for 2024. I know it's still, we're not even halfway through the year. We are halfway through the year. But for me, I looked for a diary. I love the moleskins, and I've done my
Yes,
research on every single diary and planner. And then I designed one where it actually allows me to put my priorities for the day, have on their half-hour appointments, and then obviously doing my menu in there. And kind of at the end of every month, you can go back and reflect on the month. Did you reach your goals? What can you change next month? So it's
I
been
love
a
that.
journey. Yeah, this is now the third diary, the planner that I've designed. So it's the third year. And it really helps me to kind of prioritize everything that I have to do every day.
No, that's so stunning. So, I know prior to this podcast, we were saying that we are going to offer a discount code. So, to
Yes.
anyone who uses the blending and mending discount code for their pre orders, we're going to plug that into social media. So, we will share all the details around that. So, thank you so much for your kindness in terms of doing
Oh,
that for our listeners.
you're welcome. Thanks.
The Tish, in terms of us ending off,
Yes.
one nugget of wisdom that you would share with someone who is moving into a space of becoming a stepmom, what would that one thing that you would say to them be?
Listen to your podcast. No, no, I'm making a joke now, but really, it's just to know that you're not alone. There's so many stepmoms that go through the same thing. This is not an isolated incident or an isolated situation. It's, I promise you, whatever you go through, there's obviously a stepmom who's gone through it. And I think like platforms like yours, I think is the perfect start point for any stepmom. Just to listen to certain podcasts that resonates and seeing that other stepmoms are actually going through the same thing is such an important.
Absolutely.
No, definitely. For me, it was listening to podcasts and also maybe it's another podcast that you can do is to talk about different personalities and just to realize that not everyone is going to
Mm-hmm.
see the world through your eyes or the same as you do. It's just um, to understand that people are different and there's certain reasons why people don't get along. And you, again, the last thing is you are in control of your decisions and
Mm-hmm.
how things are going to impact you.
Mm-hmm. You know, every podcast I've done so far has had a theme of eventually be kind to yourself. And I think that's
Mm,
ultimately what you're saying. It's
mm,
okay that we don't tick all of those boxes. It's okay if we don't get along with everyone. Be kind to yourself, focus on your
definitely.
family. It's going to be okay.
Oh, definitely.
I love that.
Those words are amazing, Chantal. I love it.
I love that.
Oh,
Latish, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast in between your busy, busy schedule. And I would love to have you back on again.
oh, thanks so much, Chantal. And yeah, keep up the amazing work you do. I can't
Thank
wait to
you.
see in everything that you produce and listen to all the upcoming podcasts. So thank you so much. You really
Oh,
make a difference.
oh, you're gonna make me cry, Latish. I've had a week, so this is gonna make me cry. Thank you
Oh,
for the validation. Thank you for the
oh.
support. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks, Chantal. Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Latish, that was lovely.